go. Where y'all at? I want to run my mouth. Where y'all at, man? Let's talk about some stuff that matters. I'm gonna wait for y'all to get here though. What up, Brooks? What's good, man? How you doing, bro? Sierra Washington. Weatherspoon, my bad. What's up? How you doing? Reggie Smith, how you doing? Kayla, how you doing? Is it Trishay? How you doing? How's everybody doing? So, man, I'm here to talk to y'all about something that matters. Auntie Doris, how you doing? Long time no see. Wishes are amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that. I really appreciate that. It makes me happy when people are like into my stuff. But we ain't gonna talk about watches today. We're gonna talk about money. Let's talk about money, right? Because the reason we're gonna talk about money, because that's what people don't want to talk about. We like to talk about everything. Carla, what's up? We like to talk about everything but money. Like, we talk about things that we were taught growing up are personal, and we talk about them openly. We talk about all the weird stuff openly. We talk about whatever openly, like we talk about sex openly. Like, we talk about religion openly. We talk about the things that we're taught, like, hey, keep that to yourself, share that amongst your household. We talk about it openly, but we don't talk about money. We don't talk about money. It's crazy because I could grow up. I grew up broke. I can grow up my whole life. Then as an adult, I struggle with money, and because I never talk about it, my kids then turn around and grow up, and we just keep going through the same cycles. We never talk about it, right? So earlier, I sent out a link for everybody. What's up, Lamont? I sent out a link for everyone to join Robinhood, which is a free trading service. You can buy and sell. You can buy and sell stocks for free. I've been using it for like 3 or 4 years, so I just wanted to talk to people about, money or whatever. Anybody got anything to say so far? This is gonna be an open conversation, and I'm giving myself like 10 minutes, so we're not gonna talk about it for that long. But one thing that's like extremely important, especially like in a black and brown community, is we don't own anything. We just buy. We just buy all these stuff, but we don't own anything, like any assets at all. We own none, like we just spend, we just consume. And there's nothing wrong with spending. There's nothing wrong with consuming. Like, that's cool, but also, my philosophy is to have assets that pay for your liability. So when I want to go out and party, I make sure I had made money from some type of asset to fund that partying, right? Like, it shouldn't come from my income. It shouldn't come from my job, my 9 to 5. Like, that stuff should pay the bills and then get put away, So if I want a pair of shoes, I need to hustle to get this pair of shoes. If I want whatever, I gotta make a way to get it, but we don't do that. And what happens is we end up not knowing about money. We end up not knowing about finances. Our brothers don't know about finances. Our sisters don't know about finances. Our moms or even if they do, it seems like we don't talk about it, like nobody wants to come out and say, yo, how do I make some extra money? How could I get another hustle? Like, I hear people say things like, you need more than one income, but how do I do that? I'm sure like you can get to Googling, but it's like nobody wants to sit anyone down and say, yo, this is how you do it, man. This is how you do it. Like, young brother, like, this is how you about to do it, man. Like, this is how you got to do it. Because if I don't know, I can't teach my brother. If I don't know, I can't teach my sister. If I don't know, I can't teach my mom, my dad, my aunt, anybody. I can't teach anybody if I don't know, So I got to be the sacrificial lamb, Like, I got to be that sacrificial lamb to say, this is how I'm going to go get it, Like, this is how I'm going to go get it. And then when I'm well established, and I'm going to help y'all out, But broke people can't help broke people, And I speak from a lot of personal experience. I grew up extremely poor, right? And I knew, like, there's two things I was, like, insecure about growing up is I didn't want to be poor, and I didn't want to be skinny. Like, I used to hate being skinny. I used to hate being poor too. So anyways, so then I'll start learning about stock market, and like, I used to hear things like the stock market. You sit in class and you would, if you're even lucky enough to have like a personal finance class, which I was, because I wanted to skip, I think, algebra 2. Yeah, I went to skip a semester of Algebra 2 or something, so they put me in like a personal, and it was like a personal finance class, which is crazy because at that point, like in school, you know the school system, like that farm system, it sets you up. Like, are you gonna do, you know, pre-algebra, algebra, geometry, Algebra 2, calculus, blah, blah, blah. They just set you up like that, right? So the people who didn't want to go that route, but they needed like 3 years of math or whatever, 2 years of math or whatever they needed to graduate, they had to go sit in this personal finance class, right? And what's crazy is that teacher in that class, he looked like me, so that meant something to me. You know what I mean? He looked like me. He was a black dude. He was sitting there telling me about things and telling the class about things. I'm like, damn, I was never gonna know this in geometry. You know, I didn't know how taxes work. Like, I didn't know any of the. And what's crazy now when I look back on it, like that's kind of that in history, like the only class that I actually like see or like use nowadays. You know, well, I learned kind of history from school and from reading and stuff, but that's like one of the main things I do is deal with money every day. You know, we're adults now. We gotta pay bills, and you know, we gotta budget. Like, oh my God, balance, like back in the day when I was in high school, it was balanced checkbooks. You know, I talk like I'm so old. I know I'm only 25, but look, it was like balanced checkbooks. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like, what's the concept behind that? But I didn't know anything about having a budget. I didn't know anything about these type of things. I didn't even know that my parents needed to know. You know, I'm like, if you have the money, you go buy some groceries. If you have the money, we can go to Six Flags. We never went to Six Flags, you know, unless my aunts took us. But anyway, but yeah, now, like, you know, you become older and like we need to own things that are gonna give us money. And one thing that, you know, I started to learn and started to buy were stocks. You know, I started to buy stocks, and it all started because my cousin, who's like my hero, you know, my cousin David, he was on Twitter. I used to check his Twitter like every night. Like before I go to bed, I just check his Twitter, see what he was doing today, you know. And he tweeted, I remember, I'll never forget this. He tweeted, Zecco is the new Facebook, right? He tweeted, Zecco is the new. Usually when he tweets something, I know what he's talking about. Like he'll tweet about football, he'll tweet about, you know, whatever, like politics, whatever. And he said, Zecco is the new Facebook. But he put this on Twitter. So when I say Zecco is the new Facebook, what do y'all think? Like, what the heck is Zecco, right? Like, I didn't know what Zecco was. So I like Google, hey, man, I didn't even know what David was talking about. Boom, 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 boom. I hit the Google. Keep my house on the stone. See, exactly. See, Auntie Dorsey? Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So I didn't know what he was talking about, and I wanted to know what my cousin was talking about because he was older, he was cooler, he was my hero. So I'm like, man, what's this dude talking about? And I Googled Zecco, and it was like, you know, buy and sell stocks here, blah, 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 for a low cost. And I'm like, what? You know, like, man, my cousin, look, this is how dope my cousin is. You know, he's talking about buying stocks. He was a college student at the time. Like, he's talking about buying stocks. And all my other friends are talking about these shoes that's about to come out. All my other friends talking about these girls and blah, blah, blah. You know how it go. Y'all know how it go. So, anyways, so I call him, and I'm just like, bro, like, what is Zecco? What is that about? And he's like, oh, yeah, you know, I was talking to this guy, and I was talking to that guy, and, you know, I'm about to invest in this company, a mining company, and blah, blah, blah. He's telling me all this stuff. He's using all these words. I'm, like, looking everything up. I'm, like, writing everything down, looking it up, and then he told me to go get a book called The Intelligent Investor, so I went to go get that book. And I read the book, and it was way above my head. Like, to get through like 10 pages, it'd probably take me 2 days because I have to look everything up, you know, like no knowledge of anything, you know. I'm 18 years old, 19 years old. And what's crazy is like I spent a year in Iraq and I saved up a bunch of money. I came home, bought a car, and sold the car at the point. I'm like, damn, my money just disappeared, you know. So I'm new, like, all right, I got to stay away from stuff like that. But I didn't know what to do with it. You know, people say, oh, you should save this so you can invest it. Or they throw around these terms that they tiptoe around, like, oh, you know, you get some money and then flip it. But how you going to do that, man? Like, tell me how to do it. Like, you just stop tiptoeing around it, you know? But anyway, so I started buying stocks. And I would lose some money at times. I would make some money at times. And then I got decent at it. I got pretty good at it. And it would allow me to take trips places, you know? Like, last year I came home, I got out of the Army, you know? And a lot of questions when you get out of the military is like, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? But I had those, you know, I had a little savings from like the stock market. I had a little savings from, you know, just earning my income or whatever. I had a little, and then, you know, I had my company going, so my company was making a little money. But what happened is I kind of hit it big with a stock, and I took myself and someone else. We went to Mexico or whatever, and I was like, dang man, this is crazy, because I'm so proud of myself right now. I'm so proud of myself that I was able to find a way without a job. I was able to find a way to create an income to go on vacation, right? Like no job, like I just made it happen because I knew about the stock market, because I had 6 years of trading experience in the stock market, and I took myself to Mexico and I had a good time, right? And like it was cool. It was really powerful. But then what happened was I took some of that money too, and I started investing in other companies. And this time I had like a different strategy. Like this time I wanted companies that were gonna pay dividends. So like a current strategy I have right now is I buy these high dividend stocks, and when I get paid out these dividends every quarter, then I could pay for my car insurance, I could pay for my cell phone bill, So, every 3 months, they're gonna send me, they're gonna hit my Robinhood account, and I'm gonna have some money from some dividends, and that money will cover my cell phone bill and my car insurance for the next few months, So I found a way to eliminate liabilities, bills, with an asset, with an income producing asset, So sometimes the dividend's a little more, sometimes the dividend's a little less, but I figured out a system. I figured out a system that worked for me to say, hey, when I do get paid these dividends, knock out your cell phone bill for the next 3 months, or knock out your internet bill, knock out whatever bill you had, for the next few months or whatever. So like I just had a little system that's going for me or whatever. Anyways, I use this app called Robinhood. It's a really cool app. I've been using it 4 years, right when they started. So Robinhood's important because if I wanted my bank to buy me, I have an investment account with my bank, and I say, hey, can you buy me some shares of Nike? They're gonna go to Wall Street and give me shares of Nike, right? But the Wall Street's not gonna charge them. Wall Street, they're gonna do it completely for free, right? Wall Street's gonna be like, all right, Chris Johnson, you got 10 shares of Nike. My bank is going to charge me $7 to make that purchase. And then when I turn around to sell, they're going to charge me $7 more. So in theory, I need to make at least $14 for that investment to even be worth it, And sitting around waiting for a $20 stock to move enough to cover your $14 if you're only buying 1 or 2 or 3, you're like, you might be waiting for a long time. So every time that you invest, if you have like this type of, you don't have that type of money, you're gonna lose, because you gotta make that 14. You gotta make that 14. You gotta make that 14. For people who are investing hundreds of shares, thousands of shares, who cares? You know what I mean? It's $14. One ticker moves $3, but you got 3,000 shares. The $14 is just boom, it's gone. So these dudes at Robinhood, they found a way to create an app that lets you trade for free, right? So if they're not getting charged for it, why should you get charged for it? So in theory, if you got $10 in your Robinhood account and you want to buy a $10 share, $10 exactly, you can buy it, right? You can buy it, or if you got $100 in there, you don't need to do any tricky calculation saying that, oh yeah, I have 100, but the trade fee is $7.98, so I can't buy 10 shares because we know 10 goes in 110 times. We can't do that because we got to pay this fee and blah blah blah. Then we're gonna have to pay a fee on the back end to sell it. Like, nope, $100 gets you 10 shares out the door. It's a really cool app. They're disrupting the investment world, right? So I use it. So today, I was like, when I wake up in the morning, I hit the gym and I check my investments or whatever, and I noticed that they were sending money out. I mean, they were giving free stocks, right? They were giving free stocks if I invited my people, right? Like, invite a friend, get a free stock or whatever. And I'm like, a free stock? Like, that's free money, because once the stock hits your account, once it hits your portfolio, you can sell it, right? If you don't want it, you can sell it. But they put a cap on it, $500 cap, right? So you can only make $500 off of it. So what I did was give you guys the link. I gave my Instagram a link, right? My Instagram account is a lot bigger than my Facebook friends. So I give everybody my link, and I'm like, I'm trying to make this $500, Not only am I trying to make this $500, I want you to download that app. Yeah, exactly. So Robinhood is the same as E-Trade, or, yep, exactly. The same thing. You have access to the same market, right? Just for free. So anyways, so I'm like what I was telling y'all about creating assets or finding a way to make money so you can go fund things that you want to do. Here we go right here. Like, I'm an example. I'm about to bug all my friends, all my family members, all the people on my Facebook, because you know what? I'm friends with people on Facebook so we can network. You know what I mean? Like, some people will use Facebook to keep up with their old family and friends, but if your old friends or your family isn't really offering any like useful information, then I'm not really gonna like engage in what you're doing. You know, like, okay, I see you doing the same thing you did yesterday. You know, like, I'm here to share ideas because whether good or bad, you can learn something from everybody. You know, and I'm just a student to the game, a student to life. So that's why, like, I even ended up being friends with half of you people. Big differences is free, exactly. So I'm trying to get my 500, right? So then what happens is, what I want to happen is, okay, Lamont, so let's say you download this, you know, you get your free share, or Auntie Dorsey, you get your free share, or maybe you even had it already, and then they let you invite people, and then you turn around and do the same thing, you know, like, you turn around, as long as people giving out free money, like, hey, check this out, I don't know if you trade or not, but a free share, you know, you got a $500 cap, you got a $500 cap to, it's free money, you know, like, and think about man hours, like, a lot of us got to go to work for a whole week to get $500, or 3 whole days, or, you know what I mean? Like, you got to go trade your man hours. And that's like a big part of financial freedom, is that you want to eventually stop trading your man hours, your woman hours, your physical labor hours, like your body, for money. You know, like, you want to sit back and get money from your ideas, from your creativity, from all these other things, from your money. You get money from your money. You don't want to keep, you know what I mean, like, $15 an hour, I got to put in 12 hours, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, you know what I mean, like, the way I feel about it, I don't want to offend anybody, but the way I feel about it is, you're cheating your family like that. You're cheating yourself like that. Like, bro, I don't feel like going to work today. I'd rather go hang out with my mom. Like, I don't feel like going to work today. I'd rather take my little sister to go get some ice cream. If I had kids, I'd do the same thing. You know, like, I don't feel like going to work today, but we got to be in a position to do that, you know? So we got to hustle. We got to hustle until we get to that point. So on top of you saving your 9-to-5 money, some of your 9-to-5 money, you got to create other side hustles. I'm letting you guys know this is just a quick hustle opportunity. You know what I mean? I'm going to get, hell yeah, I'll take a free shares. I'm sure you would too. So take your free share. Download the app. Use my code. Download the app. Get your free share. Eventually, when you're able to share, I don't know, like, right when you download it, you could spread the word too, or maybe they gave it to certain people. I don't know exactly, but when you download it and it lets you eventually spread the word. It's so crazy how, if I got 300 contacts on my phone, I will feel weird about texting somebody about this, right? Like, I'll feel weird about, like, man, I do want to send them the link, and I do want to tell them, like, yo, you can get a free stock, even if it's a $7 stock, $7 more than you have. That's a Chipotle meal. I would feel weird about that. Like, I don't really want to bug them. But if it was a funny fight video on Facebook, or if it was a funny, like, if it was a Game of Thrones meme, or if it was, you know, like, Power, I could send it to them right away and not feel weird about it. So if we could talk to each other about all these other things that are going on in the world, all these other things that are going on TV, all these other things that are going on the internet, we should be able to talk about productive ideas too. You know, like, don't get me wrong, sometimes I want to sit back and laugh and just, you know what I mean, like, enjoy jokes, enjoy memes, watch funny videos too, but I shouldn't feel uncomfortable asking you, like, hey, we could look out for each other right now, you know? Just in a stock. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. That's really good. You should do that. Learn the market. So yeah, like, this is what we're social for. This is why we have these social like, it's crazy. We drive all this traffic to these websites. We drive all this traffic to YouTube to share these videos. I'll share a video with you and you go on YouTube and watch it. Traffic's getting more, they're getting more traffic. I mean, YouTube's getting more traffic, and eventually they'll get more advertisements, right? Because they'll just go to these, whoever needs to advertise on them, and say, yo, we got, you know, we get 16 million hits, you know, a day. So we're going to charge you X amount. We can do all that stuff. You know, we can make all these other people, so Mom, Janae, we can make all these other people money. We can, like, spread these platforms like wildfire. But the most important currency is, like, the human factor, right? Like, I don't have a YouTube, but I got 2,000 Facebook friends. Like, you know, like, so we can all come together, and even if 10%, which would be 200, people came together and was like, yo, we can do this or we can do that, you know, or, you know, what do we think about something productive and make our own lives better, right? Can you talk about how you started the watch company? All right, I guess, okay, I'm gonna move into the watch story really quick, and then I gotta go. The watch company started, so basically when I was learning about stock market, when I was like 18, 19, 20 years old, when I first started learning, when you learn about companies, you get interested in how they make money, right? It's like you want to know how we'll use Snapchat right now. Like you want to know how Snapchat makes money, right? Like I don't pay to use it, so how do they make money? So you get curious, or you want to know how Boeing makes money. You're like, do they just make money just only when they sell an airplane to, you know, whichever airline? Is that the only way they make money? And you start realizing that they have like all these products, all these services, all these other streams of revenue. And then you start to get curious, like, man, I see how capitalism works, you know, like you got to provide value, you got to provide a product, you got to provide something, and then in exchange for money, right? But we're so far removed from that now, like that some people understand it. Some people do understand these things, but they don't tell us this. They don't tell us to produce anything. They don't tell us to provide a service. You know what they tell us? They tell us to go to school, check the box, go to school, and go get the debt, right? And the debt, you get the debt from swiping those credit cards. You get the debt from going to school. You get the debt from the house, and they don't teach us how to produce. They only teach us how to consume. Like, you know, like it's crazy. No matter what's going on in the world, the shopping mall is always going to be busy, you know? So it's like, man, like, and I was collecting watches. So I moved to Germany, and every country I'm going to in Germany, I'm collecting watches, you know, like, oh, I'll go to Albania, like, oh, I want a new watch from the mall, and I go to, you know, wherever I was going, and I was collecting these watches, and I'm like, man, if I'm going to start, or if I'm going to spend my money on watches, I want that watch to look exactly like I want it to look. Like, I don't want to wear this dude's design no more. I want to design it myself. But how do you design a watch? Who knows? Like, who knows? You got to get on Google. Everything's on Google, right? So I get on Google, like, how to design a watch. First thing that pops up is YouTube, right? YouTube, Adobe Illustrator. It was like some dude made a video designing a watch in Adobe Illustrator. He was showing people how to, like, edit and stuff like that. So I'm like, hold on now. So I got on YouTube, I got Adobe Illustrator, and I started designing. And I was coming up with all these designs. And then I was like, okay, cool. I have a design I really, really want to get made for myself, right? And I like posted on Snapchat, and people were like, oh, are you going to come up with a business, blah, blah, blah. And at first I wasn't thinking business minded, but that's when it connects. Like me wanting to be a producer of something, and me like learning about business and learning about how people and companies make money. And then me like being like, I kind of have like an anti-establishment type of attitude, you know? I'm more for the people than I am for like organizations, large organizations. So it kind of connected. I'm like, man, like I could be the voice for our people, and I could be the representation, or my company, I should say, could be the representation of the watches. Maybe I don't think that there's watch companies that speak for millennials. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that there's watch companies that speak for our people. Like I don't like. Who owns Rolex? You don't know, you know, because they sit back and collect that check. They're not involved with the community. They're not involved with anything. Who owns Michael Kors, right? Michael Kors does. When's the last time you seen his face with anything? You know, like just sit back. They collect those checks every month, and I'm like, hold on now. Like y'all sit back and y'all benefit from what the millennials are doing, or y'all benefit from what us, you know, like the minority group are doing, but y'all not involved. I don't even know what half y'all people look like, right? Hold on, let me get a banana. I'm trying to get. So, anyways, I'm like, all right, I'll be the voice for my people. Like when people want to, like, you know, when you want to look fly, you want to put on a nice watch, like I got it, right? Like I got it. I'm gonna have it for you because I'm gonna have it for myself. I'm gonna have it for you too, right? And then, but I also have like this theory that it's a business responsibility. It's a person's responsibility to help those who have less than them, to help those who don't have the opportunities. So what's crazy with traveling the world, something I learned is like, as an American living in this country, living in the Western world, we have a privilege. Like some people don't want to acknowledge it. Some people say, oh, but we get treated like this, and this. Like, yeah, but even when I was poor growing up, and I had a roof over my head. I was poor growing up, and there was water at the park to drink. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think that there's hundreds of thousands of people who are going to die because they got bit by a mosquito. You know what I mean? So what I did was I linked my business with a foundation that helps people give like the rural areas of Africa and India, like clean drinking water. People don't even have clean drinking water. Like you got women who walk 3-4 miles round trip to get water. You know what I mean? Like just to get water. Something that even if you're homeless in this country, you can go to the park and get water. You can go to the mall and get water. You can drink it up any drinking fountain. Like we take the littlest things for granted, right? So I'm like, man, like when I realized what true poverty was, that's when it kind of hit me. I'm like, okay, so I have a responsibility to help people. You know, I have a responsibility to look out for people, because not everybody had the opportunity. Even me being poor, not everybody had these opportunities. You know what I mean? Like we have a public school system. Like the poorest people in our country, you go to school for free. You know, like there's some people, you were born into the wrong family, you'll never see education in certain parts of the world. So yeah, so a part of it is like, yeah, I want to push my creativity out there. The other part of it is like, I'm anti-establishment. I haven't seen nobody's face in a while. I don't even know who the owners are. I don't know what they stand for. I don't know what they look like. I don't know anything about these people, but they sitting back and collecting that mailbox money, right? So we're going to change that. And then the other part is like, once you have money, once you have some type of money, you could find solutions to real problems, right? So that's how it started. I started off with one watch, 200 of them. Had to sell those, get more, like, you know, because I didn't know that. Like, I thought, like, oh yeah, let me get 10 of this design, 10 of that design, 10 of that design, 10 of that. It don't work like that, man. Like 200 of one design, you got to grind it out to get your sales, you know. Thankfully, I have like a lot of supportive friends. I have a lot of supportive friends who were like grabbing watches right away. I have a lot of supportive family members who are grabbing watches right away. Another thing, like a really special thing to me, is the people I met in the military always look out for me. They looked out for me in the military, looked out for me out the military, you know? And these people were like, bro, I love what you're doing. So that gave me my foundation. And then what happened was the strangers started coming, the people I didn't know. And honestly, if you're going to create a business that can sustain over a long period of time, you have to be able to sell to people that you don't know, right? You can't limit yourself to the people you do know. You have to be able to sell to people you don't know. You have to market yourself to people you don't know, who you probably, like, you know, up front you don't think, oh, we don't got anything to relate to, but in reality you can relate to anybody. But you have to have a solid product, or you have to have a solid service to provide. So yeah, that's how it started. I started in 2015, 2017. I'm about to hit year 2 of business. Everything is going well, but yeah, let's get back to it. I just wanted to let you guys know that we got to do something. We have to do something. We can't sit back and play victim, right? We can't sit back and play victim. We can't sit back and just let this cycle continue, you know? Like, we got to lead from the front. Like, it's on everybody. Like, I feel like I had to be a sacrificial lamb. For the beginning, and people don't know how to get started. Okay, Auntie, I will. So I have to be that sacrificial lamb, and I'm letting you guys know that this is how you sit back even when you're at the house. And I've been playing video games all day. That's what I've been doing all day long, playing video games. But I'm still trying to make money, you know? And that's the power of the internet. Like, the power of the internet. One more thing before I go. One more thing. The internet is everything, right? Don't ever think that it's not. So imagine 35 years ago, if I wanted to start a watch company, what do I need to do? Besides go get these watches made, I need a storefront.